Bulavanaka, welcome to Speak Your Mind on Gold FM. I'm Rita Narayan, and today our guests are from the Water Authority of Fiji. In studio with me is Ms. Fani Vave, General Manager, Customer Services, and Ms. Tale Lingeri, Team Leader, Legal Counsel. Welcome, ladies, to the show this afternoon.
Bula Rita.
Before we begin our discussions, I'd like to remind all our listeners that if you have any questions for our guests from the Water Authority of Fiji, you can email us on goldfm@fbc.com.fj or find us on Gold FM Gold FM Fiji on Facebook, and you can also call us on 3220-906 or 3220-907 with your questions specifically on Water Authority of Fiji. Now, perhaps Fania, this is a question for you. What changes have been brought about by the Water Authority with regards to addressing customer complaints and queries? And we know, particularly from the media, that we do get a lot of these queries that are directed to us, and we refer them to you.
Thank you, Rita. Water Authority, again, is we're committed to our customers. We exist because of our customers. And in terms of new initiatives and step change that Water Authority is going through, it's really all about, service excellence and some of the new improvements that we've brought for the customers. It's all about making it easier and more accessible to customers in terms of payment options. When Water Authority was established in 2010, payments were only taken by our cashiers. We've now got about 5 to 7 payment agents like Post Fiji, M-Paisa, online banking, MHs. So it's really about making it more accessible. And as of recent, we've also launched e-billing, which a lot of our customers are not aware of. And they can sign on to waterauthority.com.fj and sign up for e-billing. I know a lot of customers are complaining about not getting their bills, wrong billing addresses. So now we've made it even more easier. We're putting it right into your mailbox. And so they get to sign up on that. And we're getting, I guess it's all about listening to our customers a lot more. We've always done that, but there's always room for improvement in any business. And we're open to the public and anything that they have to say, and we'll work towards improving our services.
Right. Now, you mentioned being there for the public and being open and listening, and you have been involved in very lately quite a lot of informal discussions, public consultations with members of the public around the country.
That's right, Rita. We've got a very strong corporate communications team, and it's really dovetailing with what government's doing as well, as we are part of government, and it's bringing the services to the people. It's about finding out at the grassroots levels what are the issues. It's about also talking about things which a lot of them are not aware of. An instance was the great initiative by government late last year about the bill waiver program, illegal connections. We see an increasing number of that being reported. And I guess at the grassroots level, a lot of people, they don't know. So it's really about communicating the facts, telling them this is what it actually means if it's too technical, and just being, I guess, a little more user-friendly and bringing the services to the people.
Right. Now, one of the major concerns that members of the public tend to raise most times is that they find themselves having to pay a lot more than they would normally pay for their water bills, that they find a sudden increase or a sudden jump in the rate. Now, what advice can you give to customers who are in that situation?
Without a doubt, that's perhaps one of the largest complaints that we do receive is about the jumps in the bills, and there are obviously valid reasons why that could happen. It could be leakages on their side. It could be their meter could have been replaced. But we're committed. Once a customer complaint is received, particularly in regards to billing, our meter readers go out and they verify. So they'll recheck before it comes back again. And if the necessary adjustments need to be passed, the due processes are done and they will be reflected accordingly.
Is there a turnaround time frame within which the complaints are addressed, from the time that it's lodged to the completion?
Yes, absolutely, Rita. I noted that some members of the public, and you see it, they're always complaining about the turnaround time. I won't shy away from that. There is turnaround times for the team. Ideally, we would love to do it within 24 hours. And we have what we call a work management system. So every single call that's logged in through our call center on email is given a complaint number, and we monitor that in terms of the turnaround times. So it varies just depending on the type of complaint.
Okay, thank you. The Water Authority is now a commercial statutory authority. It has changed from the Water and Sewage Department to now what is known as Water Authority of Fiji, or the acronym is WAF. Um, could you talk about some of the achievements that have been made during that transition period? You're into your fourth year of operation now.
I think I could say that we're still in that process. Our counterparts, FEA, also went through the process, and it's taken them so many years to be where they are today. I think what it's come as the organization has grown into the period of transition is it's all about strengthening capacity. It's all about innovation and really bringing in the whole concept of the customer first, and about service excellence and thinking outside the box and innovation. I think members of the public would have seen that earlier on this year we had the launch of the Tangi Tangi Reservoir, which had been idle for some odd years, and now we've been able to manage to bring water to a few hundred more people. So it's all about, encouraging innovation, encouraging new ideas, working together. And again, the communication bit and engaging with our customers, that's so critical because they really will dictate the way forward for us.
Okay, thank you. You're listening to Speak Your Mind on Gold FM. And if you have any questions for either Ms. Fanivave or Tale Lingeri of the Water Authority of Fiji, you can send us an email on goldfm@fbc.com.fj or find us on Gold FM Fiji on Facebook, or you can also call us on 3220-906 or 3220-907. Now, one other question being on the challenges that the authority has faced in trying to achieve some of the objectives that were set out when it had changed to the Water Authority. You care to talk about that?
Sure. I think perhaps from a customer service perspective, one of the most outstanding issues which confronts the authority and has carried on from water and sewage days till today has probably been, debt recovery, which is our valuable customers not paying their bills on time and the impact that has.
Okay. We'll take a short break now, and we will come back with these discussions, and we have Ms. Fanivave and Tale Lingeri of the Water Authority of Fiji here on Speak Your Mind. Welcome back to Speak Your Mind on Gold FM. I'm Rita Narayan, and in studio with me this afternoon, Ms. Fanivave, the General Manager, Customer Services, and Ms. Tale Lingeri, Team Leader, Legal Counsel of the Water Authority of Fiji. Now, Tale, one of the issues that's constantly highlighted in the media is illegal connections. Can you talk about that? How widespread is that?
Thank you, Rita. A discovery by a verification team, technical officers, that illegal connection is on the rise, and this is brought on basically when people make a direct connection to our water reticulation system. And when I say make a direct connection, there are two types of instances where there is a direct connection. One is when the meter had been previously disconnected and the person is not in a position to pay the bills, and then because of the imminent need to have water supplied continuously to the house, they have made direct connections. And this is by using hose pipes or PVC pipes to connect directly to the system. And the second instance where this could happen is when there is a direct connection to our service line. And this is our team. We have sent out our investigation officers and also our technical officers in the field to verify whether or not there's been illegal connection on site. And the authority have been quite received a huge number where we've detected that people are directly connecting, illegally connecting to our system. And there are certain processes that we have to follow in order to rectify that. And also there's some procedures in place now for referral, whereby we have proceeded on the launching of a prosecution where we take people to task because of the illegal connection that has been made.
Right. Now, and how is your team able to find out these cases? Is it based on complaints that are lodged with the authority, or how are you able to pick it out?
As I've earlier alluded to, we have a verification team that is working full-time on this, and this is a mix of the customer service representative, technical officers, and also a few of the member of the team from the investigation officers. They go out on site and they're able to verify, and some of these instances are also reported from our meter readers when they go on site, and they find that some of the households are connected, they are not metered. So these are the various times that we get to detect the illegal connections.
Right. And most of these cases, are they confined to certain areas where there's very little infrastructure development, or is it you also find them in normal suburbs as well?
Rita, for that, we find that illegal connections is not only limited to some area. Even we have a few that is reported from industrial areas, and also some from remote locations, rural, and within residential areas where our domestic customers are. So I could say that it's spread out, and this is identified when our verification officers go out on site.
Right. And what about tampering of meters?
Under our promulgation, that is an offense when a person interferes with our system, because the idea behind the legislators had imported into the promulgation is the fact that they create a perfect system so that there will be efficient supply to our customers. And when someone tampers with that affects the whole perfect system. So there are penalties that is mandated under our promulgations, and that is according to Section 36, that if a person tampers or illegally interferes with our system, and they are liable to fines. And then we see there's a variation in fines. We have up to $1 million because of the fact that the legislators had imported that provision in because of the seriousness on how a perfect system could hinder or affect or interfere with the whole population and the public use of the water.
Mm-hmm. And you have had cases referred for prosecution, and there's also one where a fine was imposed.
Yes, Rita. We've had a number of cases that have been referred to our legal unit for prosecution. And as this is a fairly new thing that we've lodged a prosecution in January, whereby we've had this taken up in court. A few of the 2 cases that we've initiated in court. We had, as I said, our promulgation talks about a fine penalty, but we had filed in a sentencing submission to guide the court on the type of apparent losses, not only from water, the revenue that we lose out on, but also the whole works that has been put into in getting this the water into the customers. So this has affected the equal supply to the customers, and it could. So all of these things are part of the sentencing submissions that we put to the court, but at the end of the day, it is the court's discretion where they decide the ultimate fine, guided by the sentencing submissions that we put in.
Mm-hmm. And is any one of you able to sort of give us a rough estimate as to what sort of losses are we talking about in terms of revenue for the Water Authority?
I think, Rita, in terms of just losses itself, non-revenue water for the authority is more than 50%. And what the public needs to know is these illegal connections which are coming up, it's also impacting them because the water pressure drops. You know, there's a lot of other practical ways in which everybody else is inconvenienced from this.
Okay. Now, just talking about water meters, I understand that you have new water meters coming in as well?
Water meters are on the way. We haven't actually quite received them yet, but yes, we do have water meters coming in.
Okay. And how is this different from the older ones that we've had?
There is no difference, Rita. I think what's happening right now around the country is we're wanting to replace. I think a lot of I can rightfully say that the meters that are being estimated, we get a lot of estimation complaints. It's because their meters are seized. So these meters are coming in basically to replace the meters which are not reading correctly at the moment.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, that brings me to the next topic of bill estimation, and there's a lot of queries that that have come on this whole issue of bill estimations. In what other cases where the bill is estimated?
Yes, Rita, there is. And I guess in our classification, and this is where I said it's got to be a partnership with our customers. It's got to be a partnership with the public. Bills are estimated for meters which have ceased. That means that they're not reading accurately or they've just stopped. In other cases, the meters are estimated when customers are putting rubbish over their chambers, it's buried, and our meter readers go and they can't see it. You can't even find the meters. It's all underground. We also have gate locks, and I think our team has started to put calling cards to say we were unable to enter because your gates were locked. We can't enter the premises. Ferocious dogs, yes, we have a lot of them around the neighborhoods. They also keep our people out. So yes, we are estimating bills, and we're trying to curb that by putting in the calling cards and also by replacing the meters.
Okay, thank you. We'll take a short break now, and we will come back to that whole issue of bill estimation. Welcome back to Speak Your Mind on Gold FM. I'm Rita Narayan, and once again our studio guests today are Ms. Fane Vave and Tale Lingere of the Water Authority of Fiji. And before we went to the break, we were talking about the bills estimation. Now, Fane, you did mention that there are certain requirements, or there's certain cases where you have instances of bills being estimated. Now, what are some of the common concerns that members of the public raise, in particular with this whole issue of bills estimation?
It's pretty straightforward, Rita. As a result of estimation, there are people who are being underbilled, and there are some people perhaps who are being overbilled. And what happens is, if you've been underbilled, for example, and you have a locked gate, and then eventually they come back and they do your reading, and then you get charged on your actual reading, you have and because the customer is so used to receiving the estimated bill, which is like $6, and when they finally do the correct reading, you get a $50 bill. That's where we have a lot of the issues and a lot of questions. And by right, the customers have rights to be asking those questions. And we're doing everything we can to try and cut down or basically minimize. As of this last month, it's coming to an end. The team has been told that there are no more excuses about locked gates and whatever buried meters. We're only going to be estimating for seized meters until the new meters arrive.
Okay. Now, you're listening to Gold FM, and if you have any questions for either Ms. Fane Vave or Tale Lingere of the Water Authority of Fiji, you can send us an email on goldfm@fbc.com.fj or find us on Facebook on Gold FM Fiji. And you can also call us on 3220-906 or 3220-907. Now, back to the discussions. What are some of the requirements that customers have to meet when applying for a waiver of their bills?
Okay, I think just from the outset, we've just, under the bill amnesty, which was introduced by government, there was 4 criteria which was put in place. That was leakage on customers' plumbing, long period of underestimation, the first billing after a long period of usage, and pre-2010 arrears for schools and religious organizations. So those were the 4 main criteria. We had a 5th one, which was for social welfare and low-income earners.
And you had quite a few customers in that category who've come forward to
seek
assistance?
To date, the government bill waiver was valued at $13.39 million. To date, we've got a total value of $9.6 million, and the bill waiver has officially closed. However, if there are some customers out there who have genuine reasons, who want to seek redress or consideration, they are, by virtue, still can come in and they can be considered on a case-by-case basis.
Okay, and would there be any other requirements that they have to meet?
I think generally the form pretty much states everything. You're just putting in, because our billing system, we look right back, so we can verify whatever claims are coming. We can see all the disputes, so the system pretty much can verify all that, complemented by the checks which are done by our technicians.
Okay. Now, The issue of leakages. Now, that's another common complaint that's highlighted in the media. What advice can you give customers about leakages?
Well, I guess for leakages, if it's, I think perhaps just to qualify it, is any leakage after the meter towards the customer's house is the customer's responsibility. And from the meter outwards, that's the Water Authority. So the minute that you see a leakage, please call it into our call center on 5777 and alert our call center, and they'll activate the respective crew to come in and check.
Okay. And you did say the turnaround time, you're aiming at 24 hours.
That's right. It's generally it's between a 24 to 72 hour time frame. Anything beyond that, yes, that's unacceptable.
Okay. And what about on the weekends?
Water Authority, we're a 24 hour, 7-day-a-week service, so there's no excuse. Call in whenever you see the problem.
Okay. Now let's go back to the issue of illegal connections. Now, how many have been recorded so far? Do you have numbers?
Okay, thank you for that, Rita. There's a total of 124 that's been reported so far. And if to break it down by regions, we have the highest number coming out from the Western region. It is a total of 83 reported cases. From the Northern region, we have a total of 14 cases that's been reported. And in the Central and Eastern, we have 27 cases that's been reported so far.
Okay, and is there any particular reason why? Is it because of the geographical landmass area, or I mean, your investigations? Is there any reason why?
For that, Rita, I think the highest number is coming from the west. It's because of the geographical area. I would think that because of the fact that it spreads out from Nandi all the way to Ba and down all the way down to Rokiraki. So there's a lot of numbers that it's been coming from, and our verification teams, I think they've been quite really busy going down there to the west to try and investigate, gather proper evidence before the same is submitted for prosecution.
Okay. And what about the distribution in terms of residential customers and businesses and industries? And
for that, Rita, I think the influx of cases that's been coming in is mostly from the domestic customers, stemming from the residential areas. We have just a few reported cases for commercial customers that has been seen to have made illegal connection, and there's so far to date we have recorded a total of 6 customers from the commercial.
Okay. Now, finally, maybe perhaps you could talk about this. Besides the fines, if there's any conviction, what are what are some of the spin-off negative effects that it has on other people and other customers and the Water Authority in such cases?
I think, for starters, I think water for a lot of people, yes, it is a God-given right. However, there is a huge cost involved in providing water to the people. Now, to produce, what each customer is paying is you're paying 15 cents, that's 15 cents for 1,000 liters of water. Now, to transport that from our reticulation areas to your doorstep, that's a huge cost, and to have people, because people tapping illegally into our system could mean that they damage the infrastructure, which government spends so much money on. It causes nearby areas to have low water pressure. You could obviously even turn off some areas from water depending on the magnitude. So it affects everybody, other customers and the authority in terms of trying to find these areas and catch the culprits, so to speak, who are doing this. And I think it's just I think that's why our communications team has been out there just to say, it's ours together. Yes, water is a human right, but we're all obligated to make sure that we do our bit as well as customers.
Okay, thank you. You're listening to Speak Your Mind on Gold FM. And if you have any questions for our representatives from the Water Authority of Fiji, Fani Vave, General Manager, Customer Services, and Tale Lingeri, Team Leader, Legal Counsel, you can send us your questions on goldfm@fbc.com.fj. And we're also on Facebook on Gold FM Fiji, or you can also call in on 3220-906 or 3220-907. And And we'll take a short break and we'll be back in a minute. Welcome back to Speak Your Mind on Gold FM. I'm Rita Narayan, and once again our studio guests are from the Water Authority of Fiji, Ms. Fane Vave and Ms. Tale Lingairi. And if you do have any questions for any of the representatives of the Water Authority, you can email us on goldfm@fbc.com.fj, and we're also on Facebook, Gold FM Fiji, or call us on 3220-906 or 3220-907. Now, Fane, if we could talk about some of the new initiatives that the Water Authority will be rolling out. Now, you did mention one earlier on, e-billing. How is that going to be rolled out?
Well, we've already started, Rita. The e-billing is like, it's pretty straightforward. Obviously, is you get your bill emailed to you. However, there are some requirements for that. In order to receive the bill, all we're asking for in order to verify customer details is that you provide a copy of your TIN letter and your FNPF. Now, if you go to waterauthority.com.fj, that's available. You don't need to, it's all electronic. You can do it all online, fill in the details, but you need to make sure that you have a scanned copy of your TIN and your FNPF number.
Okay, and are there any other initiatives that are in the pipeline?
Yes, we've also recently on our website, again, waterauthority.com.fj, we've introduced an online calculator to help our customers. So what that means is that any day you can go to your meter and check out what your reading is, enter it on, and it will give you an estimation of the cost of that. And all this, I guess, is all part of trying to make it easier for the customers. And also, I think an important bit is the bill payment. We're having a big problem with customers paying their bills on time, receiving their bills. We've also introduced payment options for customers who can't afford it. There are some people who, underprivileged people who seriously do find it hard to pay these bills. But then we also have some members of the public who are just blatant, outright, just not paying. And I think with our partnership with the Data Bureau, we don't want to go down that road, but like everything else, we all have responsibility. We are responsible to giving you water, and customers are responsible to pay their bills. And if we both honor that agreement, we shouldn't have many problems.
Okay. Now, Tale, perhaps you can talk about the obligations of customers, your Water Authority customers.
Thank you, Rita. Just to add on what Ms. Fani had earlier stated, the obligation of customers. We have the premise of which we have a build a relationship with our customers, a contractual one, whereby we are mandated to supply them safe drinking water, and it's a requirement for them to pay for that service. And this relationship is an ongoing one. When it gets down to the point where the customer is not in a position to pay, then there's a requirements for us, for the authority, whereby we are required to disconnect. But there are other options that is available, whereby they are the alternative of part payment, as Ms. Fani had earlier on stated, regarding customers who are not fortunate enough, who do not have the financial ability to make outright payments. Now, having said that, just further on legal connection, now that obligation that we have under the promulgation, and when that obligation is not fulfilled by the customers, and then they make a direct connection to our reticulation system following after disconnection, it affects the whole system that we have. Now we put in, there's a lot of cost associated with treating that water and making it safe, and it's in line with what government requires of the authority, and that is to provide safe drinking water and efficiently to the customers, and that affects the whole. So we encourage the customers out there that for them not to go down that road, and for them to if they're not in a position to pay, they can always come forth to our customer service and make arrangements.
Okay. Now, Fane, earlier on you mentioned that you're now getting your teams when they go out, the meter readers, when they go out, that they do leave calling cards, and that's not something that people are used to. What advice can you give to people who would find themselves receiving these calling cards from the Water Authority?
Basically, if a customer receives a calling card, that pretty much just says that we came by to read your meter and nobody was home to open up the gate for us. And I guess it's courtesy, it's plain courtesy and just requesting. I mean, we actually go the extra step sometimes in calling customers and making arrangements. We want to read your bills accurately. We don't want to overcharge you or undercharge you. And it's out of courtesy that we're giving these cards so that you can make the time for us to read. Now, the fact that you don't make the time for allow the opportunity for the technicians to read your meters, despite our several attempts, then unfortunately an estimation is what you get. And customers get upset over that. And, we're very limited in resources as well. And, we have 144,000 meters. In Suva alone, we've got about 26,000 meters. And the reality is we have 10 meter readers, so to speak. So they've got on a tight schedule. They have to read meters within a certain time frame. Help us help you is my message, We want happy customers, but we need you to partner with us to do that.
Okay, thank you. Now, Tale, probably this would be for you. We're talking about customers who illegally connect to your water reticulation system. How are they able to do that?
As I've earlier stated on Rita, there's two types of connections. One is when they make a direct connection. This is after the disconnection has been made. And the second one is when they make a direct connection using hose pipes or PVC pipes direct to the service line. Those are the two types of direct connections, illegal connections that we have.
Okay. And you did mention that you've had cases that have been prosecuted so far.
Yes, number of cases that's been referred to us for prosecution. Now we're going, when it comes to evidence, we're going through the whole process because we have the authority to prosecute subject to the powers of the DPP. So we have these investigation officers who are going out on site, who are verifying the evidence together with the technical officers, whatever referral that's been made for illegal connection. So getting the right evidence and then follow through with the prosecution is what we are currently working on.
Okay. Now, Fana, perhaps we could go back to some of the other new initiatives that Water Authority has.
Sure. I think in terms of the more technical side and the fun bit of it with the engineers, there's actually quite a bit of science. I mean, I know the customers see us, interface face-to-face, but there's actually quite a bit of science that goes on. And joining the organization just quite recently, you get to appreciate that a lot more. But there are a lot of new initiatives, and we're doing a twining or a partnership program at the moment with a counterpart in Australia, Hunter Water, in Newcastle, who were similarly like the Water and Sewage Department and have now become fully corporatized. So, it's almost like a big sister, small sister arrangement. And they're helping us introduce new things such as water modeling. We've got new initiatives such as the GIS, which allows us to look at things live and see, especially across on the systems, about where our meters are. Continuous upgrading of our existing systems, such as our complaint system, so that, we're monitoring the complaints that are coming through and we're doing something about it. Monitoring is one thing, doing something about it is another. So it's stepping up to that and making sure that we're responding in a timely manner.
Okay. We'll just take a short break now and we'll come back to more on that discussion on new initiatives. Welcome back to Speak Your Mind on Gold FM, and we're with representatives of the Water Authority of Fiji, Ms. Fane Vave and Tale Lingeri, and I'm Rita Narayan. Before we went to the break, we did talk about some of the initiatives that the Water Authority has taken on board. Fane, perhaps we could just continue with that?
Sure. Just in terms of, bringing service excellence and pushing service excellence and realizing customer focus, it's always been the customer has always been important for the authority, even from water and sewage days. But I guess it's acknowledging that there is always room for improvement, and coming with that, and in line with governments bringing the services to the people. We've also introduced, and I think I hadn't mentioned it, was it's actually just started in our national office at Manohan building, is that customers can now also pay with their FTOS cards. Ideally, just making it easier, I guess, in terms of the payment options and in terms of, as I'd said, the billing options also when customers get hit with a large bill. And what I encourage people is that, even though you're making payment arrangements, the important thing to do is to keep paying your current bill. I think we have an issue where there are billing disputes and customers just refuse to pay. To avoid disconnection, I'd say just keep paying your current bill. We can flag it on our billing system that your previous bill was in dispute, but it's so important to keep paying your current bill. Secondly, I think just in terms for customers is with the introduction of all our agents such as Post Fiji, MHCC, if you're paying your bill because you got a disconnection notice, I just urge customers to please remember to call in and give us your receipt number. Now, IT, as fast as it can be, there is a lapse time. So if you've got a disconnection card and you've gone to pay your bill, please call 5777, give us your account number and your receipt number so that we can reconnect on the same day.
Okay. Now, what about those who have complained about not receiving their bills? What redress can they get?
Sure. Again, the most important thing I'd say when customers are calling in to our call centers or coming to our offices is please know your meter number or your account number. If you don't now, you receive your bills every 3 months. Now, this could be part of the problem. I'm not too sure. But from my perspective, I think if you've given 3 months to pay your bill, you should be paying it on time. So what you can do is you can call in. If you don't know, you can actually just call in and give us your residential address. We can type it into the system and it will throw up your meter number. So, Rita, there's really no excuse why people shouldn't be paying their bills. And I guess that's really, what I'd really like to drive at, is if you haven't received your bill, pick up a phone. We have a contact email address, just whatever it is. If you don't know, you should know your residential address. We can pull up your number based on that.
Okay. Now, as General Manager of Customer Services, what are some of the other processes that you're streamlining to ensure that, your customer services offices are efficient and effective and are quick to respond to complaints and queries and get them dealt with?
I think, well, Rita, we monitor our service levels. It's a daily event. It's we're very quite particular about it in terms of the turnaround time. Everything is lodged. The systems are locking this. But as I said, there's always room for improvement. And I think moving into we're in the 21st century now, and acknowledging that the customer is king. Is just, being a lot more courteous, trying to have advanced notices. And that's why you've seen that our dynamic communications team is out a lot more and talking and engaging, because really this is the heart of the business. It's all about our people, our customers. So, it's about monitoring that. It's about continuous feedback. And as stressful as some of the complaints can be, it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity for us to grow. It's an opportunity for us to review our processes, and we're doing that internally apart from the external processes, and it's a really exciting time for the authority, so to speak.
Okay. And can you talk about your feedback process, your complaints process, and how is that worked out?
Sure. At the moment, we get quite a few queries or complaints via the website on our contact email address. We also receive them on the phone. So what happens is that's actually monitored. It's all logged on the system, and we have officers who are dedicated daily to closing that off. So while our technicians might be going out and say, we fixed the meter, it's not leaking anymore, it doesn't stop there for us. Our customer service people have to call back and ask the customer, are you happy? Is it really fixed? And then it's closed. So that's the level of accountability and ownership that the authority is taking now. And it's exciting times. There's never a dull day at Water Authority.
Okay. Before we come to an end of this program, Fana, is there anything else that you'd like to advise the customers?
Well, I guess it's, to all our faithful customers who pay their bills regularly, thank you very much. There's always room for improvement. We're open to feedback. We're open to new ideas, and it's always about, continuous improvement. So to our customers, it's just please call us if you have any issues, email us. We're open and we're here to serve the people of Vinaka.
And what about from the legal team?
My message, Rita, would be to all those whose accounts have been disconnected, and I would strongly advise them to shy away from trying to make direct connections to the system and call in to our customer service, try and make part payment arrangements, and make every effort to regularize.
Okay. Thank you very much, ladies. We had Ms. Fani Vave from General Manager Customer Services and Tale Lingeri, Team Leader Legal of the Water Authority of Fiji. And that brings us to an end of this program on Speak Your Mind. Until next time, I'm Rita Narayan.